both talk to that chief for police search? Yeah. I don't know if you heard, but the police union wants to. Oh, yeah. Good evening. We're going to open up the Selectmen's meeting. I'm going to read the announcement first, and then we'll get right into it. This is the Town of Dayton Board of Selectmen's regular meeting. This is Wednesday, November 29th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting via Zoom and in person at Old Town Hall, 1111 Somerset Avenue. Zoom meeting information. You can join the Zoom meeting with the meeting ID 851-8530-1894 with the passcode of 685311 and a phone number of 305-224-1968. Public input may be provided using the following methods. Contact our office at Board of Selectmen at dayton-ma.gov to provide input prior to the meeting, via Zoom/call in by phone at 305-224-1968. And it's continually played on Dayton Channel 9 and at YouTube at www.youtube.com/Town of Dayton. This meeting is being recorded. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. This meeting might not be live this evening. There's technical trouble, so you'll have to watch it on Zoom, on YouTube if you want to see a run of tonight's meeting. We're going to have a call to order, please.
Good evening. Leonard Hull is present.
Nicole Mello.
And myself, Peter Karen. Can please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And then after the Pledge of Allegiance, can you just remain standing for a couple of moments of silence? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since our last meeting, 4 residents of the town of Dayton have passed. John Jack P. Arsenal, Master Sergeant, retired United States Air Force of Dayton, passed away on November 10th after a brief illness. He was married to his best friend, Edna Ozinski Arsenal, for the last 56 years. Jane M. Morton, age 81, of North Dayton, passed away after a courageous battle with cancer on Sunday, November 12th. She was the loving wife of Arthur R. Morton for 61 years. Sandra Matheo, age 73, of Dayton, passed away on November 15th at St. Anne's Hospital. She is survived by David Matheo, her husband of 52 years. And Olive May Braun Gagney. In Dayton, November 13th, Olive May Braun Gagney, wife of the late Selectman Armand Gagney, passed away at home at the age of 87. Our thoughts and condolences go out to the families of these Dayton residents. Could we have a moment of silence? Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Fournette, you're up, sir. Come on up. Come on up, sir. You don't want to?
Want me to come up there?
Sure, you could just stand here. We have a couple things to say about you. Yeah, we wouldn't make you stand out in front. Mr. Fernand, I know you've had an awesome career with the town of Dayton. We certainly appreciate it. 50-some-odd years, 51, 52?
Something like
On the
that, yeah.
Conservation Committee? That's fantastic, and I don't think we could ask for anything better from any individual who serves the town. Thank you very much.
Well, I enjoyed, everything I did, I enjoyed doing.
I'm sure you did. To do it that long, you had to.
Yep.
Do you have anything to say, Nicole, at this time?
No, I enjoy my time at the Trails Committee with you. I'm not going to say you're my favorite member, but you're my favorite member.
Yeah, that's because you're not coming back.
Mr. Hull, you have something to read.
Yes, I do, and before I read, I have something to say. Mr. Fournette, the very fact that you served this town for over 50 years without any compensation speaks huge. Thank you for all that
Like I just said, everything I did, I enjoyed doing it. So,
and it says how much you love this town, and for that, we
oh,
also.
this is my town.
Whereas Mr. William Fournette was born and raised in Swansea, Massachusetts, where he graduated from Case High School, after which he enlisted and spent 4 years in the Air Force, and then went on to attend St. Angelo Junior College in Texas, the University of Maryland, and Framingham College. And whereas Mr. William Fournette married in 1958 and had 3 children and moved to Dayton in 1963, establishing Stone Hill Farm in 1965, where he has been a long-time farmer, raising cows and sheep and boarding horses. And whereas William Fournette has been a dog breeder, trainer of Labrador Retrievers from the year 1970 to this very day, as well as being a judge at dog shows for over 15 years, has written numerous articles for various magazines regarding dog training, and has been a dog officer for both the towns of Dayton and Somerset. And whereas Mr. William Fournette was a member of the Dayton Conservation Commission since 1972, where he led efforts to purchase over 50 acres of salt marsh and uplands in Broad Cove on the Taunton River, piece by piece over many years, where he was the lead advocate in getting the Community Preservation Act accepted in Dayton, which led to more open space preservation, where he worked with the Taunton River Watershed Alliance to survey the Saragansett, 3 Mile, and Muddy Cove brooks in the successful effort to get the Taunton River designated as a wild and scenic route. He has led successful efforts to establish osprey nests on town properties and utility rights of way, and has been active on the Natural Resources Management Board at the Bristol Agricultural School, all for which he was presented with the Conservation Commissioner of the Year Award from the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissions in 2015. And now, we, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Dayton, do hereby recognize Mr. William Fournette for his over 50-year dedication and public service to our community and its residents. On behalf of our grateful community, we extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. Fournette for his tireless efforts to move Dayton forward. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the great seal of the town of Dayton to be affixed on this 29th day of November, 2023. The Board of Selectmen of the town of Dayton, Peter D. Karen, Chairman, Nicole L. Mello, Clerk, Leonard E. Hull, Jr., Member.
Mr. Fournette, that deserves a standing ovation. Thank you. You are an awesome person. This is for you.
We have a couple more people who would like to speak to you. If you don't mind, this is the chairman of the Conservation Committee.
No, you don't have to sign anything.
No.
We signed it.
I want to congratulate you, Bill, for all the efforts that you have put into the community. And they had such a long list there. I'm trying to think of things that they might have forgotten. And one of the things was all your stands that you have out there for public access and public use. On behalf of the commission, we wish to give you this plaque so you can place in your home. And we got the bird's nest in there, the osprey. Try to get some herring.
That's good, that's good. Reading all my toys.
Try to get the herring down here, but the herring wouldn't come out. And okay, here and inside here we have a stand so you can put the plaque, stand it up in your. And you can have the bag too. Again, thank you for all your years of service, and we wish you continued good health.
Mr. Finette, can you just stay here for one more minute?
I
Yeah, just one more minute.
Something else I want to.
Sure.
Say. She reminded me when I saw her. One of the most important things to me anyway that
Yep.
I've ever achieved was kicking her in the butt, getting her going on. We now own a piece of the Segregated River
Nice.
with water rights.
Yep.
And that's the first thing in 75 years, and it was because of her, right there. That
Absolutely.
lady right there. She did all the work.
That's very nice. She has something she'd like to say to you as well.
She does?
Yes. You can come up, Nancy, whenever you're ready.
I'm not so sure I want to
Do
hear
you
that.
want to see?
I'm going to tell everybody the truth.
Okay.
Bill Burnett was one of the original first members of the Stormwater Committee, representing the Conservation Commission
Cool.
when we were formed in 2018. Bill Burnett was out in the swamp with me off of William Street the day I heard about the problem along the Segregated River and the Taunton border where they were building condos, okay? Bill has always been a person that I could go to and talk to him about problems. Bill, what about this? Unofficially, Bill did some inspections on that site when nobody was supposed to be there, but he didn't know that, so it's okay. It was after he went there, I told him we're not supposed to be, okay. So it's okay, Bill. Backing up even further, we were approached by the city of Taunton about acquiring farmland in Dayton to replicate land that they had sold off for other purposes.
Okay.
And it was after this fall town meeting, and there was no way to get money to do it. We needed $150,000. Talked to the Aggie School. They were willing to support us, but not monetarily, because obviously they were planning that North Campus. But anyhow, the only money available was conservation money. And so we went to meet with the Conservation Commission, and initially there were 2 out of the 4 votes. The other gentleman was absent because he had to, his son was leaving for a deployment, so he wasn't there. But anyhow, they took an advisement for a week. I went back the next week, and initially the vote was now 3. And Bill wasn't too sure about acquiring Council Oak 2, because it wasn't obviously wetlands like, or marsh like Broad Cove. But anyhow, the discussion took place, the vote was cast, and it was a unanimous vote. So we acquired Council Oak 2 with conservation money and with the agricultural money. There was $150,000 from the development in Taunton, the federal agency that had that money available to replicate farmland. 150 from conservation. And the owner of the property, it was like $453,000 was the price of that. And the owner of the property donated the other 153. So, with the acquisition of Council Oak, there were a lot of happy people in town.
I'm sure.
Because people didn't want a development. The Intertribal Council was very, very happy because there was not going to be another housing development near Council Oak. So Bill was instrumental in that. Now, he mentioned the Segregated River. That came out of a discussion, and I see Tommy Ferry's there. After one meeting, Bill and I just sat in this room, and we were talking about different things, and we were talking about wetlands and acquiring property. And I made the remark, I wish the town had acquired Brook Street land when we were building the bridge, because it was for sale, and we could have gotten it. That's when Bill grabbed my arm and said, what are you talking about? I've been trying to get that land for 40 years. So, he gave me all the credit, but you know what? With the help of Tom Ferry and Bill Frenette, the three of us put this together. I got in touch with a guy out in California. The original price was $25,000 to $35,000. And we weren't sure what was going to happen. But it just so happened that year that it was Super Bowl time. And the Patriots were in the Super Bowl. And they were playing, I think it was LA, not positive, but it was his California team. So, excuse me, when I called the gentleman in California I had been dealing with, I said, hey, by the way, who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl? And he says, I grew up in Lexington, who do you think I'm rooting for? So I knew we were all set. So anyhow, we acquired I call it the western half of the Segregated River and the water rights that went with it. So, I didn't do that alone. As I said, thanks to Tom Ferry and Bill, who were right there all the way. And the day the papers passed, it got registered. The three of us were in David Gay's office. David walked in and said, what's going on? I said, we're here to celebrate because there had been a lawsuit years and years ago when Peter Gay was town council. And the lawsuit was Dayton and Somerset battling over water rights to that river. And Somerset prevailed. And it bothered Peter Gay because he said that case never should have been lost, that Dayton should have prevailed. So, we were all there and we toasted Peter Gay and said, it took a long time, Peter, but we did it. So, I just want people to know how much Bill has done for this town, other than the obvious conservation stuff. He's done a lot of work behind the scenes. He's been always there when I asked him about something, or he'd call me up and ask me about something. And we kind of followed this all along. So I'm glad that Bill is still around. I'm glad that he's still healthy. And so this year, I got something to present to you. You know how we always do the stormwater calendar. So this year, all of the pictures in the calendar are pictures of Dayton. I told him there was a picture of a vernal pool in this calendar. He says, I want to see that. There's the vernal pool, the Clearway project up behind the Root Hills.
Yep,
With the eggs in it, and you can see the new growth coming.
Yep. That's wonderful.
All right? So I've got some of these for you and your family.
Good.
This is from Lisa. A lot of these are my pictures because I had gotten 27 pictures, but some of them the colors weren't good. But I will tell you this, now that the calendar's out, people are sending me pictures left and right, because now they want to be in the next calendar.
Sure.
So hopefully we'll do that. It's the Aggie School.
Yep.
Your son, your grandson will enjoy that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, Bill, thank you for everything. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your counsel. Thank you, Tommy, also. It's been a great time, and I'm sure if I call on Bill for that and say, hey, I got a problem with whatever,
He'll be there.
stormwater or something else, he'll be. One other thing I want to mention, the first public event we had for stormwater was held in the gym at Dayton Rehoboth. They were having a STEAM conference, the first one. Excuse me. One of Bill's observation stands that's down in Broad Marsh, Tom Ferry managed to get inside that gym.
Oh, jeez.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, with whatever heavy equipment you pick this thing up with. It was there, we had it all set up, and it was a joint program with the town of Rehoboth. We were both doing our first educational program. But one of those observation platforms was in that gym, and we were both towns are giving out bags and stuff. So anyhow, he was there at the beginning, and I know that if I need him, he's still there now.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna open up the next schedule.
You had something to say? That's it.
Okay,
False alarm.
thank you. The next scheduled appointment is for the poll hearing, number 308-25461. Install one jointly owned pole on Chestnut Street.
And
No.
Philip, I would recommend that the board,
Open up.
open the hearing.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing regarding poll 308-52461.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Any discussion? Then all those in favor, I'm sorry, I did it backwards. But there's an aye. So it is confirmed that the hearing is open.
Do Tim and members of the board, we have Aaron and Lloyd joining us on National Grid. Aaron, if you want to, just give us an overview of the petition.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm assuming most of you know that the new substation, Reynolds, the Reynolds substation on Reynolds Street, was just completed, and we were going to start reconductoring or adding 2 new circuits down North Street to Chestnut Street. The purpose of this pole is for our conductors to dead end on this pole in order to anchor the conductor to head west down Chestnut Street. So this new pole would allow us to dead end the wires. I guess originally we were going to dead end the wires a couple poles down, but due to a historic rock wall, we didn't want to damage that rock wall, so hence we wanted to install this pole in order to dead end the wires a little closer, in order, not in order to disturb anything in that direction. So.
Okay.
Mike, if you have the highway superintendent also with us as well. If there are any questions about the area location?
No, I don't have any. It's pretty clear cut for me. Nicole, do you have any questions or concerns?
I can't think of where Chestnut Street is, but I'm assuming there's no sidewalks. No,
In this
okay.
area.
I don't know where Chestnut Street is, so I
You know
was,
where Zeke's is off the 40?
oh, yes, all right.
Chestnut, it goes up alongside.
Okay, all right. That was my only question. I wanted to make sure that wasn't smack dab in the middle.
Mr. Hall?
The only question I have, is there any public comment? Anyone in the public object to this?
Okay, doesn't
That
sound like
being
it.
said, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to grant Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the public way west of 26 Chestnut Street.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Karen is an aye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, we're going to close the hearing on that.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to close the hearing on poll 308-52461.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Karen is an aye. Mr. Ron O'Connor, you're up, sir. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is a great time to be part of the Dayton Public Library and an exciting time. And I thank you for the opportunity to give you an update on where we are, because there are a lot of things moving. I feel like the planets are continuing to align
Sure.
to get the town the library that it deserves. So I'll talk about, give you an update on library operations, an update on the funding, and an update on the building project. And it's all good and great news. First of all, next slide, Mike, please. I want to commend the staff. You know that Library Director Jocelyn Tavares left for Swansea after 15 wonderful years and very successful years as director of the Dayton Public Library. And we've been working without a library director. The library trustees have been providing day-to-day support for the staff, but the staff have been doing yeoman's work in keeping the library working and responsive to the needs of the patrons. So I just wanted to call out their wonderful service to the town. They exemplify the kind of public service that we like to see. They stepped up in the absence of the director to move things forward.
Good.
So, but the good news is we have, the trustees have appointed a library director.
Okay.
We've made an offer, sent an offer letter today. A screening committee interviewed 2 candidates for library director. One withdrew. The other candidate was referred to the Board of Trustees for an interview. The trustees interviewed and offered the position to Mark Prochnick, who's coming to us from the New Bedford Whaling Museum as a librarian there. And again, to that theme of planets aligning, Mr. Prochnick comes to us with experience in moving a library, moving the New Bedford Whaling Museum library. So he's very anxious and excited and enthusiastic about being part of this project. And I think that's the move to a new building, to a historic building, is part of what has attracted him. And so we have an anticipated start date of December 18th. So we're now, not that I'm counting the days, but about 20 days away from his start. So we're looking forward to that. And I thank the trustees for their role and as part of the interview committee, and Pat Gales and Ken Pacheco, who are on the screening committee. So we've moved forward with that. Next slide on the library building project funding. As you know, the legislature, through the efforts of State Representative Pat Haddad and Senator Mark Pacheco, we now have $175,000 in an earmark in the FY23 budget. I signed the contract the other day with the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism, who's taken responsibility for managing the contract. These funds, the $175,000, are for furniture, fixtures, and equipment for the new library, and I believe we have confirmed, Town Administrator Mullen and I spoke with the contract manager at Travel and Tourism, and we're pretty sure that we'll be able to use a portion of those funds for designing to meet the needs for the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, which makes perfect sense. I'm most excited about the smaller amount of money, $20,000, that we received from the American Library Association for the Library Transforming Communities around access to accessibility to the new Dayton Public Library. We were successful through the work of former director Jocelyn Tavares and ADA coordinator Jonathan Gale to receive these funds. I think more than the additional space that we'll have at 207 Main Street, this is going to move us to a library building that will have the accessibility that we've lacked for many years. And I think that's the most important thing, is that now the new building will have the kind of physical access that was limited at the Carnegie building. But also, through this grant, we're starting to look at what other, beyond the physical access, what other aspects of a public library need to be accessible. So we're looking at everything from A to Z. First thing we did under this grant, or one of the first things we did under this grant, just a couple of days ago on Monday, we had 2 public forums on accessibility to invite public input into the kinds of ways in which we can make this new library building as accessible as possible. And collaborating with ADA coordinator Jonathan Gale, we held these 2 forums. We had, I would say, about a dozen people offering comments. We recorded it. We're preparing a summary of that, and that will help to inform our ongoing efforts of getting community input and how we can make the make this new library more accessible. We sent out this mailer to the entire community. I'll just point out that it says Town of Dayton. We had intended for that to say the Dayton Public Library, but in the haste to get this out through the printer, that was an error. But we're glad that this got out. We're getting good public input, and we'll report out on that a little bit more at some future date. We also have received, as we announced last month, the Massachusetts Cultural Facilities grant of $200,000, and as we had indicated at the time of the Community Preservation Act application, that if we receive those funds, that would offset the costs associated with those funds that we received for the HVAC system, so that's good news. Next slide, Mike. Finally, we've contracted with a new architect through our competitive procurement process. We now have a new architect. He's very excited and enthusiastic about that. We did a site visit with a couple of the staff from there, from MMT, Town Administrator Mullen, Building Commissioner Aguirre, and Ken Pacheco and I as Building Committee co-chairs attended that site visit. And you could feel their enthusiasm for this historic. People are really getting excited about converting a historic building into a library. I actually, incidentally, had recently been to the Providence Athenaeum. If you haven't been there, that's a wonderful old building as well. And I chatted with the library staff about our project in Dayton, and they're all very excited about this as well. So it's a good thing. I'm pleased that we're getting this through this partnership with the Bristol Plymouth Regional Technical High School. We have students working on the project. It's great for them. It's great for us. They've been helping with electrical work, helping with the exterior ramps, and also helped with through the wisdom of Building Commissioner Aguirre, we've gutted the basement. It's going to make the HVAC system installation so much easier. So they've been helping with that too. So there's a lot of great things happening with the library project. So I want to touch upon a few of those here tonight. Keep you posted. Sure. Not quite getting ready to sharpen the scissors for the ribbon cutting, but I'm getting excited. I think we're looking for an opening date of, somebody said the other night 2025, and I said early 2025, sure. Right? So that's our hope. But this is all very exciting. I welcome any questions or comments you might have.
That's a nice update, and you guys are working tirelessly, and we certainly appreciate it. The 25 opening will be here before you know it, and a lot of people are doing a lot of hard work, and like I said, we appreciate the work that's being done. Bristol Plymouth, they're doing electrical work under the supervision of somebody with their license, I would assume.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
That's wonderful. Nicole, do you have anything you want to
I just want to thank you for coming and presenting, because I see on Facebook all the time people asking about the library. So it's in everyone's thoughts, and I'm sure they're grateful to get an update of where we are.
Do you have an update of where any shortfall that we're going to have between now with these grants that you have in the final product of opening the library?
Shortfall, you mean
you're not going to have enough money?
I think we're fine with what we have right now. Yeah, I don't
anticipate any extra additional needs? Okay,
no, I think we're doing great. And part of that is, again, we've got a great building commissioner who's knows ways to get things done. Before I forget, Tom Ferry's crew also was helpful in gutting the basement. So
we have a lot of good people here in Dayton, and you being one of them too. Thank you. Mr. Hull.
Actually, a few things. One individual that I'd like to thank for his help is the Dayton representative to Bristol Plymouth, Ed Dutra, who's played a major role in helping to coordinate Bristol Plymouth technical HVAC and carpentry students, working with Mr. Aguirre to help with the library. And when we speak about money, we made a commitment that we would not impact the tax rate with the library. And I stand firmly committed to that goal. And with that being said, there's another group that certainly needs to be thanked because they help a great deal bring the money in, and that's the Friends of the Library. And I'm very confident that the Friends will ensure that we stay within budget, or if not, they will raise the funds to make it happen. It is certainly a dream. Those of us who were back in '92, I believe you were also working back in '92 and '93. Oh,
Oh,
I
no,
predate you.
I didn't move to Dayton until 1994.
Well, for those of us who've been pushing for libraries since then, it's a dream come true. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Also want to thank the trustees for their support and help with this.
And thank you for mentioning the Friends. They were on, after I sent this in, I realized I had neglected the $10,000 fundraising effort through the golf tournament. I know Zach LaPointe, the president, chairperson of the Friends, is on, and we're I don't know if he's still, yeah, he's still there. Yeah, we're going to have a check transfer day coming up soon. We just have to schedule that. But yeah, the Friends are an amazing group of people also, and we're very grateful for their support. So,
Thank
and I'm grateful for all your support as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
You're welcome.
Yeah, one thing that, one thing that like I just wanted to add as well, like we've had to, like for procurement purposes, we've had to procure like a new architect at MMT, but we do expect the same owner's project manager to continue in Greater City Partners.
Okay.
They were actually with us on Monday. They've been great partners. Like really since the inception of the project. So yeah, and we do expect that they'll continue on. Through the whole project as well, and they've been
Right.
great with us.
Why did we change?
We had we had to re-procure the professional. We had to re-procure the professional services and the architecture because we reached the state procurement threshold of what.
Okay.
So of how much money we spent. So from calendar year 2022 up until the end of last spring.
Okay.
So if we went forward with that anymore, we would have been in violation of the state. So we would have been in violation. So we would have been in violation with with the state procurement laws.
Okay. Who caught that?
Guy did it. Guy did it. It was a plan all along.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you.
Oh, do you have something else?
I was on the selection committee that chose MMT.
Okay.
With Mr. Aguirre and several other town
Nice.
residents. MMT has an outstanding track record of restoration of old and historic buildings. And as we go forward, we have the library, but also down the road, we'll be taking a look at the Carnegie Building.
Sure.
So their expertise is going to come in.
Will that Carnegie building stay with the trustees of the library, or does it revert back to the town?
I would imagine that it would revert back to the town. The town would be the custodians, but we can
Okay.
confirm that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. We're going right into announcements. Mrs. Mello, whenever you're ready.
The town parking ban, no person shall park a motor vehicle between the hours of 12 midnight to 6 a.m. on any street from November 1st of each year to April 1st of the following year. Police will take notice. I'm going to read the next one, but I was just told that this is full. Come and support the Friends of the Dayton Library and create a beautiful Christmas wreath on Tuesday, December 5th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Ruggiero Farm, 1522 William Street. The price is $45 per person. You can call or stop by to sign up. Like I said, I did hear that it was full, which is excellent news, but just in case anything opens up, the number is 508-669-6988 to call. The Council on Aging is holding an event at Lincoln Village Community Center on December 6, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. This event is to inform Dayton residents 60 and older or persons with a disability of the transportation options in Dayton, GATRA. The Town of Dayton Food Bank will be held next on December 16th, located at the Town Hall, 979 Somerset Avenue. This is held in the lower level.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mullen, time for Town Administrator's report.
I actually don't have any updates to report this evening. So
Okay.
I'll keep it brief and quick.
All right, you're all right. Selectmen's reports. For myself, the Historic Commission did not meet because of private reasons, and they're not going to meet until beginning of December. And the Solid Waste Committee met, but I was not there for private reasons. Is there something that we need to know?
We did have the technical assistance grant kickoff
Right.
with a consultant from the Department of Environmental Protection, and we had basically a kickoff and introduction to Dayton with her, and talking about how we finance, getting structure and fund our trash and solid waste program, and so we did have an introductory meeting on that, and we plan to meet next on December 12th, at 5 o'clock.
Right. Was there any discussion about the new trash bags? They're out there, I understand. Is there any comments about them, or?
We didn't have a whole ton of discussion about the trash bag at solid waste.
Okay.
But I do understand the Board of Health met last night.
Yep.
And they did have, from what I've heard, a pretty extensive discussion about the bags.
Yep.
What vendors in town are carrying the bags right now. We do have a few vendors who are in arrears. In terms of what they owe the town, in terms of what they owe the town for carrying the bags. So I do know the Board of Health has had to make some adjustments based on that.
Okay.
And so I haven't heard anything else about that meeting.
Okay, as long as they're on top of it, that's great.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mrs. Mello.
I'm just going to add about what Mike just spoke about in regards to the bags. I did not go to the Board of Health meeting, but I do know that there had been a lot of chatter on Facebook in regards that we were out of bags. We're not out of bags. We have about a year's worth. Some of the vendors have changed for the meantime until we straighten things out. You can go on the Board of Health site, and there are an updated list of the vendors so that they can access that at any time. The Trails Committee, I attended that meeting. I talked to the Trails Committee members about that I was not going to be attending their meetings anymore. The liaison positions for a committee like that, they are very well run. I do not think there's any reason for me to be coming to their meetings. They know what they're doing. They're going to keep me up to date on what they're doing. They're going to come if they want to report on anything. I just think that there's no reason for me to be there.
Okay.
It just seems silly. You know what they're doing. They're excellent. As soon as the meeting's done, I'm already getting alert when the next meeting is, and all this stuff is already done. So Bill Fournette wasn't happy. He likes me going there, but I told him this is a good thing.
Sure.
I don't feel like I need to be hovering over you guys. The whole point of having committees is for the people to come and to do the work, and for us to be there if they need us. But I just don't feel like it's necessary. And it was sad because I do really like them all, and Bill's my favorite.
Sure.
But yeah, so they did talk about they're going to be going to the CPC for some funds in regards to Broad Cove. They're looking to do a boardwalk project. So that's going to be their next step.
Wow.
And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Hall, whenever you're ready, sir.
I have three quick items. The Dayton Rehoboth Regional School Committee met last evening, and they honored DR Junior Ella Rosa for her student memorial revitalization project, in which a memorial has been refurbished, honoring students who passed during their time as students at Dayton Rehoboth Regional High School. Ella got the idea when her friend Michael Pacheco passed away a couple years ago. And she established a GoFundMe account to start this project and raised up money to put in a stone bench, to put in some, cut and clean up the shrubs, put in some mulch. Did a beautiful job.
So it's an exterior.
Yes.
Oh, great.
And they recognized her with a presentation of the We Are DR belt. It looks like a WWE big old wrestling championship belt. That was Superintendent Bill Rooney's idea. And it's, what Ella has done is tremendous. The school committee voted, however, to absorb the GoFundMe account, and the funds will come in through a special account.
Okay.
It is probably appropriate when it is on town property that the use of funds to make upgrades to town of Dayton property
Yep.
should be done and overseen by a government agency rather than a private individual.
Sure.
If nothing more for the accountability piece.
How much did they raise?
I'm not sure, that
Yeah.
wasn't asked at the
Okay.
meeting. Also, the grade 8 students will be visiting the DRCTE vocational program this December. They hadn't set a date, but it's going to be probably the week of the 18th, 19th of December. And lastly, and I'm hoping this is in fact going to happen, I was promised that the Main Street project would be finished by Halloween. It did not happen. I was promised it would be finished by November, and it didn't happen. I have been promised tomorrow that they will start with the completion of the culvert work. And I'm hoping.
Yeah, I didn't promise that.
No, I didn't say you. I did not say you. I am the representative of the Dayton Water District. The Dayton Water District has made that promise.
Okay.
I will say this, and I don't mean this as a threat. If it hasn't happened by the next meeting, I'm going to ask that the Board of Selectmen submit a letter of concern. There have been many complaints. There have been many unresolved issues that it is reaching a point of embarrassment. So
Sure.
it is their project. They are a separate legislative body. I get it. But Dayton residents are not happy in that area.
So they have
And
until.
some of them have suffered financial loss
Sure.
as a result of damage to their vehicles or their homes. So I am hoping that tomorrow the company will begin work on finishing the culverts.
Good. December 13th is our next meeting, I think?
Yes,
So they'll have until then?
thank you.
Great. We're going to move right into old business. Proposed updates to the police chief hearing process, the scope, the job posting, and job description.
So, the board at the meeting on October 11th engaged a firm called Public Safety Consultants to help guide the town in its hiring of a new permanent chief of police. The initial engagement with public safety consultants entailed the firm first meeting with and conducting a preliminary review, like an assessment with the acting chief of police to kick off the process, which has already been completed. What I'm recommending this evening is actually an updated scope to the town's engagement with PNC, the town's engagement with PSC. As we continue on in our efforts to hire a new chief of police, this updated proposed scope seeks to further create a transparent process that will bolster our ability to hire the best possible candidate for this important role. This updated process will also include, this updated process is also proposing updates to the chief of police job description, creating a police chief job announcement, and then posting the position both internally, posting the position both internally and externally. I am also recommending an initial screening committee. Like an interview team that includes the chairman of the board of selectmen, myself as town administrator, and the town's human resources coordinator, based on the attached proposal and job announcement from PSC. I am recommending that the chief of police job announcement be posted for the next 30 days, as as soon as this time period ends, a screening and interview team will meet to the screening applicants, provide essay question prompts to be answered by the candidates in written form. And then we will have initial interviews. After that, public safety consultants will then complete a chief level assessment center for up to 4 candidates. This process will assess the candidate's knowledge, skills, abilities, and also their personnel traits for the position. And then public safety consultants will then provide a scoring report. Which will have a grade and ranking. Order of the finalists who will then be presented to the board and the town for consideration.
Okay.
So we do have a proposed updated job description for the position of the chief of police. We have we also have a proposed job posting, and we also have a proposed updated scope with PSC as well. So we will need 3. We would need an approval and updated job description, like a job posting, and the updated scope of PSC.
Okay.
I'm recommending.
When you say 30 days from when? Tomorrow or?
It would be 30 days from 12 For Monday, we could have it posted.
Monday? Okay.
Yes.
So do you know that date offhand?
So it would, so we would have it posted on the 5th, and so, so the position, the posting will then be open, the position will then be open through the end of the first week in January.
Mr. Hall, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Finalists,
Yes.
plural, correct?
Yes, so there will be 4.
No, that the screening committee will send to us.
The screening committee will recommend 4 candidates to be assessed, and yeah, and then yeah, yeah, then the board, so then the board will receive the ranking of those 4.
And then the 4 will come before us for a second interview, or,
Yes. Yeah, like once, yeah, like once they act, yeah, like once, yeah, like once, yeah, like once, yeah, like once, yeah, I'm sorry, once they go through the assessment, then they'll come back to us.
they'll come back to the Board of Selectmen
Yes.
for the final interview and vote?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So from 4 down to 1.
Yes, it's how, yes, it's how we would end this process, yep.
Mrs. Mello?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Great job, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration of this, it's important.
Sure. We're going to move on to new business.
Point of
Go ahead.
order?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Selectmen accept the revised job description as presented this evening for the Dayton Police Chief.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Cameron is an aye.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we post the vacant position of Dayton Police Chief for 30 days, beginning
December 5th.
December 5th.
December 5th
Yep.
and closing January,
That would take us to Friday, January 6th.
Fridays, no,
Ye-
we're closed,
Yeah, we have email access.
January 6th.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Cameron is an aye.
The third motion,
Yes.
are we posting this just internally first, or are we doing internally, externally?
Yeah, like I'm proposing I'm proposing to post internally, like in externally at the same time.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we post the position, the vacant position of Dayton Police Chief, both internally and externally.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
And Peter Cameron is an aye.
Is there any other motion that you feel?
Yeah, like we do have to have a vote on, yeah, like on the updated scope with ESC as well. To be able to form an assessment center and not, yeah, like to also have a background check at the end of the hiring process. And so that, that would have an additional cost to the town of $6,500.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to retain Public Safety Consultants, LLC, 3 Eagles Nest Lane, Boxford, Mass., for the total sum of $9,000 to assist the town of Dayton in a search for the police chief and to conduct an assessment of the proposed candidates that will come before us.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Peter Karen is an aye. Before we close, before we continue, the salary would be equal to,
Yeah, like exactly where we are. So yeah, like exactly where. So yeah, exactly where we are and what we are funded now.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we do have a range in here.
Okay.
We do have a range in
Right, I
here
saw that.
that will go from 120,000 to 145,000 based on education.
Okay.
And we would save basically with longevity over the next couple of years because,
If we were to hire a chief, like from the if we were to hire a chief from the outside, they would be new to town.
right, okay. Great, thank you. We're gonna move on to new business. Review, discuss, and act proposed January through June 24th Board of Selectmen meeting schedule.
And I'm very happy that we're back to the every other week process. The month of November was kind of little,
Yep.
just throwing it out there.
I'm not a fan.
I see no issues.
It's nice that you like every week with us, Peter. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, is there a motion on the floor? Unless you have questions?
No, I don't. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed January through June 2024 Board of Selectmen meeting schedule.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
And Peter Cameron is an aye. Thank you. Review, discuss, and act. John Crawford, Conservation Commission's Conflict of Interest Disclosure.
Yes. So like we did last week, we received a disclosure, from from a member of Concom, who wanted to disclose to the board that he has a potential financial, he or a member of a family, he or a member of his family does have a financial interest. In that before Concom. The financial interest in the matter dealt, with that, with a property transaction about a piece of land, that has, that's happened last year. Based on the property transaction, that has a lot of an ongoing discussion about the land.
Okay.
And I'm sorry. So the board does have an ability the board does have an ability to act under disclosure. Yeah, like I'm sorry, like in the board. Yeah, like the board, like also had, yeah, like, yeah, like, hold on a sec. Yeah, it's the, yeah, like, see, yeah, like, yeah, like, oh yeah, like the board, like, also, the board also, so the board also, so the board also, so the board also has the opportunity to request a member, you refrain from taking any further action on the issue until, oh my god. Oh my god, like, until he reaches out to ethics.
Right.
So yeah, like, so yeah, like, so yeah, like it, oh yeah, like it, oh yeah, like, oh yeah, like it, oh yeah, like it, oh yeah, like it is like really up to the board, like in which way it wants to proceed here.
So basically, there will be no decision until we have a recommendation from the Board of Ethics.
Yes.
And I suggest that we just table it until we hear from the state.
Okay. Yeah, like what I would recommend was that the yeah. Oh my god, like, yeah, like what I would recommend would be, yeah, like what I recommend is that the board vote to like request that the member refrain from taking any further action on the matter until he does receive that information. Yeah, like, yeah, from ethics as well, like just, yeah. Yeah, like just, yeah, like just, so yeah, like just, oh my god, like just, yeah, like just, so, oh, yeah, like just so the, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, just so, yeah, like just, yeah, yeah, just so, yeah, just so that the board's on record taking action on it.
Okay. Should the whole Conservation Commission not take any action until it,
Only him.
only him?
Yeah.
And you don't think others will be swayed based on?
No.
Okay. Yes, Linda.
There are currently 5 members of the Conservation Commission. There are, in fact, 2 individuals, one of which is not being presented this evening, and it might not be a bad idea if a discussion is had with that individual as well to do something similar.
That is in process.
With that being said, my concern is that we could end up holding up or creating a problem for continued work with the developer, and as a result of creating a potential problem holding up work, that the developer could have an action against us. Now, that may or may not be an issue. Mrs. Goulart has asked to be recognized, but on the same token, I urge that we try to resolve this issue no later than the 13th if we do table.
Nicole, do you have any concerns? Okay. Mrs. Goulart?
I'm Nancy Goulart, Stormwater Committee Chairman. As long as 3 members are sitting there, they can conduct business, and there shouldn't be a delay in the matters that would involve the other 2. The problem arose at the last Concom meeting because the second member, who hasn't made a disclosure, stepped down to provide basic information, which was not a problem. But then he opined on actions that this town has taken. And I was present, and I got up and I strongly objected because there were false statements being made. I do know that that individual was spoken to and was given the information he needs to, first of all, take the training for conflict of interest, and secondly, to ask for an opinion. It's if anyone feels they're in potential violation, conflict of interest, the best thing to do is contact the Ethics Commission and explain it to them. I speak from personal experience because when I volunteered to write the town's anniversary book, I was on the FinCom, was paid like $500 a year. Because I was paid a stipend, technically I was in violation of the state ethics law because I still was GATRA, I still was DR Financial, I just wasn't an elected official. And the fact that I received $500 caused the conflict. So I was also the ADA officer and the EO officer. But anyhow, what happened was the attorney of the day said to me, go to the Board of Selectmen and ask them to declare you a special employee. That will solve the whole problem. I said, am I going to get fined by the Ethics Commission? And she said, we don't normally find people that step up and ask questions, even if they're in conflict. So relative to what Mr. Hull has mentioned, I'm aware of that situation. I know in one case, the individual has been spoken to take the training and everything else. But I also think the records of conflict of interest should be checked every year at a minimum, and that reminder should be sent out. When you're sworn in to your position, you're given a stack of paperwork, you know, the rules and all that. There has to be follow-up on all new appointees. You got to take the conflict of interest training. Without taking that, you're in jeopardy of making a mistake, and you could be fined. And if you're fined by the Ethics Commission, you're going to eat that fine. The town does not pay for fines because you failed to do what you have to do. So I would say, as far as the Conservation Commission goes, if the Board of Selectmen were to issue a letter to them saying, and name the project you're talking about, or the matter that you're talking about specifically, that until there is a ruling from the Ethics Commission in those 2 cases, only the 3 members who would not be in a conflict of interest are allowed to act on, which means the other 2 sit down and be quiet out here. Okay, but the situation at the Concom meeting was bad. It was upsetting. And the worst part was the remarks that were made were not true. If the individual had stopped talking and explained why a continuation of the hearing was needed, that would have been fine. But then when that individual started to bash this town and every board, committee, commission, including the one he sits on, that just crossed the line. So I think everything's going to be okay, but I think that's what you need to do. Because without the ethics ruling, it's just there. But at least as a board, you've got, but they've got to have the 3 quorum. They've got to have the 3. What happened was also there was an individual, a member that was out ill, so there were only 4 present.
Right.
But I think it got continued for that one anyhow.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one question.
Sure.
Mike, we don't have anything in place that when we bring on a new employee or board member, that they have a certain amount of days that they have to complete the ethics training?
The town clerk, to her credit, has been trying to strengthen and really strengthen that process.
Okay, but there's nothing in place, like within 30 days, please complete, or anything like that?
I don't have any idea, like, I'd be like speculating if I tried to answer that, I'm sorry.
You're like, I haven't finished mine either.
No, I absolutely not.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to table a decision on John Crawford's Conservation Commission conflict of interest disclosure until a ruling has been received from the State Ethics Commission.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter Karen's an aye.
I would also like to make a motion, since the members of the Conservation Commission are appointed by the Board of Selectmen, that Mr. Mullen be authorized to determine, in the short term, because I don't know when their next meeting is, whether the other individual in question can vote on matters involving the parcel of land under development at 0 Brook Street until the December 13th meeting. Because
Yeah.
And
So
would you-
what yeah, like if I could just, if I have an ability to make like a friendly amendment to that, like until, and it would, be, until like, until it, until like it, that would be till any member who has a potential conflict with that property receive input from the ethics commission as well. So we do set the expectation of the school that was mentioned with the board. That we expect anyone who has an issue or conflict on that project to reach out to ethics now.
Right.
I think that's extremely important that happens.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, I don't think you jumped that on the town administrator. In all honesty, all you need is for the individual in question to get in writing from the State Ethics Commission something for you. No one else has the right to determine that. He stepped down
Right.
because he knew he was in conflict. And as I said, sitting in the audience when he was explaining why the Concom should give the continuance, and it was basically because they were ready to go and couldn't get in here on Zoom. And nobody thought about calling in on a cell phone, because we've had to do that at the Stormwater Committee. So they continued it thinking that the owners of the project had just blown them off. Well, that didn't happen. He explained that well and said they should continue. He crossed the line when he started making personal comments.
Sure.
So, that's why I'm suggesting to the board that the letter, all letters, go to these individuals that says, you need a written decision on each of them from the State Ethics Commission. Because if you ask the town administrator to do that, and he doesn't know the details, and happens to say, okay, you can vote on this, but you can't vote on this, and the one he says is okay, that's gonna come back to haunt him in this town.
Right.
The project will continue with votes of 3 members of the Concom on this project. That's all you need is 3. So that way, the town administrator is, in my opinion, is not in jeopardy. It's
No,
the two
I agree. The
individuals.
outreach would be from the members themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
The two
Ethics
individuals.
won't even talk with me if I reach out.
No, that's another thing. If you call and say, I got a question about such and such,
they
and
won't
they'll
talk.
say,
They-
no, all right?
Even Shara, was she's,
Yeah, no, they want
No.
to hear from the individual
Okay.
who has an issue or a potential issue. So
You
they
have
need
to,
reach
you have
out
to
themselves.
explain to them what the story is, like I did when I was appointed to write the book. And, that's when the first thing she said to me is, do you get paid? I said, well, not for that job. I get $500 a year roughly because I'm on the finance committee. She says immediately, you're in conflict.
Right.
And my solution was go to the Board of Selectmen, get appointed a special employee, which
Yeah.
covered all those titles that I held.
Right.
Okay, so, that's what that's what I let the board know. I had a situation when I was actually on the Board of Selectmen, when the appointment of Jason McGovern came up. He is my grandnephew. His father is my nephew. He's the next generation out. But I did get in touch with the Ethics Commission and explained to them, I was a selectman, his appointment was coming up. And they said, you can vote on it because you don't have a direct financial interest. He's gonna be paid under a union contract. It's not like you're setting his salary. And so I was far enough away as a relative, you know, weddings and funeral relative.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that was the last time I had to call him, but I did it because I was concerned. The other thing you need to know is, if somebody sits on the board, the commission, not your board, the commission, and makes a decision to which they should recuse themselves, that decision doesn't stand.
Right.
It's got to be acted on again. That's the importance of 3,
Right.
okay?
Right, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Yes, sir.
my concern is, and I was also at that meeting, that there were items that were discussed that weren't even on the agenda.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, with the next conservation meeting and the public input, ask that those items that were discussed that were not part of the agenda be stricken from the record. I,
You can't do that. Excuse me, Mr.
Sure.
Chair. What took place at an open public meeting, whether or not it was on the agenda, has to be in the minutes. I know exactly what Mr. Hull is referring to, because after the gentleman made the remarks that I considered crossed the line, I raised my hand and got recognized, but the chairman of the Concom said, oh, this isn't on the agenda, so we can't discuss it. And my point was, wait a minute, you let him make
Right.
those statements, there's no way I'm gonna sit here
Sure.
and not speak on behalf of the town and the people that volunteer, paid or unpaid. They're doing work in this town that just got bashed.
Yep.
So had the chairman of the Concom immediately said to him, stop right now, we're not getting into it, but he was allowed to speak. So you can't strike it from the record.
Right, it's there.
I would still like for Mr. Mullen to meet with the chairman of the Conservation Commission, review what was discussed this evening, and to express our concerns to the chairman so that we don't have any additional problems with this. Because we still have not received any correspondence similar to what we received this
Yeah, like
evening.
that, like I just want to really be careful like on that as well because yeah, like it isn't on our agenda either. So, like,
Right.
we really don't have like a ton of room to
here.
go into that area as
Right.
well. Like even though it's about potentially the same issue, we
Yeah.
should have listed that on the agenda as well.
Correct. Yep, I agree.
Do we need a further, motion?
Well, have you made,
Because we addressed there seems to be 2 individuals, so we
Yes.
addressed
Right.
the one that we have in front of us.
and that's all that
Um,
should be there.
Okay, Are we good?
So what is your motion? I'm sorry.
Well, my motion was for the town administrator to meet with the chairman of the Dayton Conservation Commission to discuss our concerns in regards to a potential conflict of interest involving a parcel owned and being developed on 0 Brook Street, which is the solar development.
For just John Crawford.
Concerns in general
Okay.
as we go forward, so we're not having to revisit this at another meeting, based on the discussions we've had this evening. In other words, is there a way that Mr. Mullen, working with the Conservation Commissioner, can clean this up so that we don't need to come back before the Board of Selectmen to address this?
Right.
We may have to inevitably, based on any other disclosures that are filed as well. We can't control what disclosures come.
Yeah.
So based on what ethics recommends as well, we might actually have more disclosures coming forward.
Yeah.
Which is actually helpful. It's actually what's required. But
Could Mr. Mullen still be able to coordinate?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, I don't have a problem with any of that because that's what I do on the regular anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, on this whole issue as a whole, I've already been working on that.
Okay.
So I don't have any problem with
Alright.
that.
Is there a second on the floor?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Karen is an aye.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen.
Okay, review, discuss, and act, extension of Plan B contract.
Yes, so we kind of will entered into a contract with Plan B Carpentry last year. For like on-call carpentry services for
Right.
1 year with with 2 1-year options to renew. We've had a very good experience with Plan B. So what I'm recommending is what I'm actually recommending is that the board vote to exercise exercise of the second 1-year option of the contract.
Okay. Any discussion, guys? Is there a motion on the floor?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Selectmen approve the extension of the Plan B contract to a second year, for a second year.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Peter Karen is an aye. So the contract is up, we extending it 1 year.
Yes, through the end of December 2024 at this point. And then after that, we'll have 1 more year to consider after that.
Right, okay. Review, discuss, and act items for disposable/surplus from Council on Aging. 1 rolling salon table, it's broken, for disposal. And
Well, I
one-
want a salon table.
Yeah, you need a mic, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep, 1 rolling entertainment center. We have to vote on these individual or just,
You can vote on them as proposed.
okay, as proposed. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that 1 rolling salon table that is broken, 1 rolling entertainment center be disposed or marked as surplus from the Council on Aging.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter Karen is an aye. Approval of the warrants.
Mr. Chairman?
Warrants paid for November 22nd.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the town of Dayton pay the warrant of November 22nd, 2023, item 22A-24 for $110,760.40. Item 22B-24, $307,169.47.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Peter Karen is an aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the town of Dayton pay the warrant for November 30th, 2023, item 23A-24, $130,253.50. 23B-24, $64,316.67.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Karen is an aye. I can't believe it's the 30th already. Correspondence, letter from Trista Tate, Program Manager, Council on Aging, Primetime, regarding donation of $1,000 from Terry Ruby. I don't think I have that.
If I can bring up on this.
Okay.
Too. Sorry for my scrolling. One second. Okay, here we go. From Terry Ruby, I can zoom in as well.
Primetime Adult Day Program, 1059 Somerset Avenue, North Dayton, Mass. 02715, dated November 12th, 2023. Annabelle Powell, Primetime under your direction flourishes and our community thanks you. Donating to the Primetime is an essential service to many. Feels like positive payback. Thank you for our community and many trusting, and my trust remains in Primetime to be available for many generations to come. I don't know if there's more. Yes, Lynn?
Primetime, they have their own account,
Yes,
so
yes.
it would go right into the Primetime account.
But I do recommend that the board accept it as a gift.
To the town.
Yes. Yeah, and specifically to prime time.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the donation of $1,000 from Terry Rubin to be placed in the Primetime account.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Peter Cameron's an aye. Thank you, guys, that's very nice. Public input. Yes, Ms. Goulart?
I just noticed that Tom Ferry is on it. I don't know if Tommy is going to speak.
Yeah. You want him to go first?
Yes.
Mr. Ferry, do you have any comments? Tom?
Guess not.
Okay.
You might have forgot about us.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, not Tom. I wanted to mention something that came in, Nancy Goulart, 631 Great Terrace. I received something in the mail this week that I found upsetting. It looked so official and so real. It's about clean energy. I can't be the only person in town that got this, but it was personally addressed to me. Didn't appear to be just an advertisement type thing. And it explained all about clean energy. And it said, please sign at the bottom and return this. And when I saw it, I thought, if this was sent out to people in town, clean energy, oh, it sounds great.
Sure.
But you got to remember, this is going to cost more than aggravation. We're in the aggregation program because it's the best we could do for residents on buying energy. No, it's not green, it's not clean. It's the best we can do, and people are struggling. So that's the aggravation part. This thing was a real good proposal, and I kept looking at it saying, I hope nobody fills this out unless they truly want to pay more for their electricity.
Yeah.
I felt it was deceptive.
Sure.
I received one.
You did too?
And I thought, yes. So I'm going, go ahead. and then I'm going to make a motion.
If there's that, I don't suppose we can write to them and say, knock it off, but if we could put something out on the Dayton news thing,
Yeah, would you be able to bring it in or share it?
I may have shredded it, to tell you the truth. I will look, but usually,
If anyone still has it, we'd be really
I don't think
interested.
I received any. I don't know, did you?
No.
but like I say, it's sign on the dotted line and send it back, get it,
Yes.
and I looked at it and
I'll
thought, you're
look
gonna
to
be
see if I
kidding.
have it, and then,
So that's all I had to say on that energy
thank you.
thing, but you got it too.
yes,
I guess we're the
I
chosen.
thought it was,
Oh, no.
Very professional. It does not look like some rinky-dinky advertisement that says, you know, whatever. I wanted to comment on the GATRA services that are provided. I use the long-distance GATRA transportation when I had to go into Boston for some eye surgery. I used it 2 days in a row because you have surgery one day and you have to go the next day to get checked out. The first day, all I needed was a ride to the Mansfield train station because I was taking the commuter rail in and the T and went to Mass Eye and Ear, and a friend picked me up and brought me home. The guy was great. I mean, took me right to the train station, dropped me off. The next day, a different guy came to my house and picked me up because I had to go to Mass Eye and Ear at Foxborough Stadium, where Mass Eye and Ear has an ophthalmologist. And again, picked me up, got there in plenty of time. He said, how much time do you think you're going to need? I said, I'm hoping it's not going to be longer than an hour. You never know who's ahead of you. But I was taken right away and came out and called him, and he was right there. And I said to him, it didn't take an hour. Can you take me to Trader Joe's across the parking lot? Because I couldn't shop, and you know. And he says, no problem. He pulls right into a handicapped spot, which was okay because he had the plate. I was in and out of there in less than 30 minutes, and then he brought me home. And I think the total cost was $30 for the two.
That's great.
He said to me, you know, you don't have to get off at the train station. I'll drive you to Boston. And I said, no, I don't want to tie you up. There may be other people needing transportation. But I got to tell you, if I have to do any more of that,
Yeah.
no question at all.
Great organization.
The GATRA, it's like a special division for long-distance transportation.
Okay.
You can't beat the cost.
No.
And the two different drivers, they were excellent. Really, really good. So I can't say enough good things about that transportation. Just to the public, the calendars I gave out tonight are available at both town halls. In this building, it's downstairs at the Board of Health. At Police, Fire, Highway, and Library, I will be getting some to put into Lincoln Village and Prime Time. All the calendars haven't come in yet. I'll be going to BP probably the end of this week to get some more. So they're available, and once I get all town buildings taken care of, I'll go to the two post offices, and if I have any extras, I may put them just locally in businesses. But the calendars are free. The pictures are all in Dayton this year. And I'm happy to say, now that people have seen calendars, they're mailing pictures to me. I had to beat the bushes to get pictures. That's why there's so many of them in there that are mine. I did have 27 pictures on a thumb drive, and the students at BP picked what they consider the best for clarity and for the, if you will, the themes we were trying to promote, like April, the vernal pool, because it's springtime and all of that. But anyhow, they are available, and we will get them out. I think Mr. Ferry's gone. Anyhow, I would like to publicly thank Tom Ferry and Heather Nakora for all of their assistance with the calendars and also the brochure. The brochure is in its second proof, and I'll be taking that up to BP to get it printed. But thank you very much, Tom and Heather.
What is the brochure?
The brochure is the trifold thing we have that describes the stormwater program, about septic maintenance and cleaning up after pets and washing the cars on lawns, or taking them to a place that recycles. Excuse me?
I think you had mentioned that to us before.
Yes, so we're just about out of the 3,000 we printed back around 2018. So we have upgraded it, and the kids at BP have done a great job.
Yeah.
So that's there. There will be no Stormwater Committee meeting in December because the two biggest projects right now, Brook Street Solar and Clearway, we have contracted with Weston and Sampson to take a look at Brook Street to figure out what's with the basins so we can get them, they can do something to get them going. And Clearway, we're in the process, they're developing Weston and Sampson is developing a proposal. We need somebody to do the final, if you will, stormwater inspection. Up to the point of Mr. Pilling's leaving, I'm confident everything's cool. But I want to make sure that after he left, even though we've been getting reports, I want to make sure that everything that was done to the point was carried through to the end.
Sure.
Because this inspection that Weston and Sampson will do, and will be paid from the 53G account that Clearway will fund.
I was just going to ask you that, who's paying?
Yes. We need that, if you will, clean bill of health that can go to Mr. Aguirre, because he's waiting to find out, is everything okay stormwater-wise?
Yep.
Before he gets involved.
Do you have a timetable for that yet?
So, no, the proposal is being put together with Weston and Sampson right now.
Okay.
So, the, and then the other project, we have Blue Wave, which is Middle Street and Tremont Street. That was just proceeding along, and we get reports. Whereas the other two, one we're hoping to get finally finished, and the second one is we just need that final report to make sure everything's okay.
Right.
And that they followed what they had to do. So we're not meeting in December. If we need an emergency, not an emergency, if we need a meeting for something urgent, we'll schedule one. The other thing I was thinking of when you were talking about the Conservation Commission, there were alternate members to that committee. Maybe it's time to reach out and ask for some alternate volunteers that you can appoint as alternate members. I think Mr. Phillips was an alternate at one time, and I think the town clerk was. So it might be wise to have a couple of alternates so that if, you know, a situation comes up similar to what you're dealing with, someone else can step in.
Yeah. The current town clerk or Mark?
Town treasurer.
Oh, excuse me,
Oh, treasurer.
Paul,
Okay.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I had a discussion with Mr. Digits about that.
Mm-hmm.
To do it similar to, I believe ZBA does, where if someone is out, one of the associates is appointed to
Oh,
vote.
but no, they do that from, Mr. Karen, they do that from their membership. They don't have alternates
It's
per
not an
se.
alternate,
Well, they're considered associates,
associates, right?
but they have the same voting power.
Right.
that-
Well, conservation in their bylaws doesn't have that ability. So that might be something that they may want to upgrade their bylaws. Because I suggested that if you have associates, somebody is out or can't vote on a matter, that they step in. And Mr. Digits told me their bylaws doesn't allow for that. The idea of an associate is to learn so that when someone leaves,
They can step in.
step in running. So that is something that we could follow up in our discussions, Mr. Mullen, when you meet with Mr. Digits. Also mention that, and maybe they'll put it on their agenda and make a bylaw change. And that would make things a lot more smooth.
That's everything on my list. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. We appreciate it. Minutes, approval of the Board of Selectmen's regular meeting minutes of November 15, 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen regular meeting minutes of November 15, 2023.
I'll second that.
I was not here, but I read the minutes, so I can vote on that. And any discussion? Well, that was my discussion. So, all those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
And Peter Cameron's an aye. Vote for adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're history. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.